things like ringing the bell outside and sutra chanting. Today, when we do the sutra chanting, we're just going to do Sei Ge, the shortest, simplest, and most beloved of all of them. But I'm going to precede with Shi Shin Rai. And we are just about to go broadcast, and here we are. Kathy Kumagai and Alan Goto are getting this up onto the internet for us, I believe. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'll warn you, I'm going to lose my mask when I speak and chant, but that'll be about 3 minutes from now. First thing I want to do is ring the calling bell outside the Kansho. When I come back, we'll do the sutra chanting. I'll begin chanting Shi Shin Rai by myself, which is expressing reliance on the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And then we will chant the Sei Ge together. And I will be right back after ringing the calling bell. And we'll see if it calls anybody. Right now we have 5 attendees. Let's see when I get back. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Itabutsu, Namo Nabutsu. Namo Itabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Itabutsu, Namo Nabutsu. I will start the sutra chanting with Shi Shin Rai, which is to rely on Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I will then ask you to join me for the chanting of the Sei Ge, which will be very quick to come forward. And the Sei Ge is in the book, page 39 for the Romanized version. Page 39 for Sei Ge, but allow me to start with Shi Shin Rai, expressing our reliance on Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Shi Shin Kei Lei Namo Tyo Chiu Shi Shin Kei Lei Namo Tyo Chiu Ho Shi Shin Kei Lei Namo Tyo Chiu So. Today, on the occasion of the year 2022 Father's Day, Parents' Day service, we reverently affirm our reliance upon the three treasures of the truth. We do rely upon the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Namo Mita Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu. I'll ask the attendees here now to join me in the chanting of Sei Ge, which, if you're using the Orange County Seiten, is romanized on page 39. Busatsu Daimuryo Jukyo Sei Ge Gagontyo Segan Hishimu Jodo Shiganfu Mandoku Tefujo Shogak Ga Omuryoko Huidai Seishu Hutai Shobingu Tefujo Shogak Ga Shijyo Butndo Myoshoto Jippo Kukyomi Shomon Tefujo Shogaku Ryokujin Shonen Nyoeshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tenninshi Jinriki Endaiko Hushomu Taido Shoujo-san Kumyo Kosai-shu Yakunan Kaihichi Egen Meshikon-mo-an Heisokusho Akudo Tsudaten Shumon Kosojo Mandoku Iolo Jippo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenkon Fugen Ishu Kai Hodo Koseku Dokuho Yodai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isaya Buten Gusokushu Tokuhon Aneshyoman Tokui Sangayo Nyobuten Mugechi Tudatmi Husho Gangaku Eriki Toshi Sai Shoson Shiganya Koka Daisen no Kondo Koku Sho Tennina To Chinmyoke Namandabu 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 Ganya Shikudoku Byodo Sei Isai Dodmonai Shinna Ojo An La Koku Namanda Burmanda Namanda 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 Burmanda Namo Mita Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Mita Butsu. Well, thank you for joining me in the Sutra chanting. I'm going to ask you to sing a song and do a devotional reading. We're going to sing Hotoke Sama, first two verses. Here in the annex, we don't ask you to stand, it's too awkward. And you will find Hotoke Sama on page 116 in the Shin Buddhist Service Book. And we will just do the first two lines, and we'll go on a count of three, like they say. 1 and 2. No, 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 sama, Hotoke sama, watashi no suki na ka sama no, omune yo no ni yanwari to, dakarete mitai Hotoke sama. No, 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 sama, Hotoke sama, watashi no suki na to sama no, otete no yo ni shikari to, sugate mitai Hotoke sama. Thank you, and we'll go on to the devotional reading today, which I believe was on page 8, the golden chain. Yeah. Just jump right in once I start. Golden chain, top of page 8. I am a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. May I be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. May I think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Mitabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Mirabutsu, Namo Nabutsu. It is the Dharma message portion of our service now where I tell you a bunch of wonderful things that I've learned in life. And you assess them for yourself. We appreciate your being here at the service or viewing the service that Alan Goto and Kathy Kumagai are helping to put up onto the internet for me. She doesn't want me to mention it very often, but I thank my wife for doing my wife Kyoko Okura Gibbs for doing the flowers for us this morning. All this will be a little more formal within the month. We'll be back in the temple building within the month. We're not sure how soon. But it's moving. We're moving along okay. We'll be there before the Hatsubon or the Obon services. And most of you know we had abated asbestos and then tented for termites. So we've been renovating our temple facility a bit. Now this is, again, June 19th of 2022. And this is our first annual, so-named, Parents' Day service. Last year we called it Father's Day, and there's a different Dharma message. Each June there are two holidays that sort of weekly reflect observations and services we had back in May. You may not have made a big deal of it, but last Tuesday was Flag Day, which is kind of a faint remembrance of Memorial Day, right? Memorial Day is big. Flag Day, I didn't put out a flag. I didn't remember it was Flag Day, you know. And then here in June we have Father's Day, which kind of pales by comparison to Mother's Day in terms of how much attention it gets. In fact, Father's Day is so minor of an observation, if we compare it to Mother's Day, I'm not even calling it Father's Day this year. This year, and maybe from now on, I'm calling it Parents' Day or Parenting Day. Observing Parents' Day allows us to be more inclusive. We have family in the LGBTQ and non-binary communities who include excellent parents who might not exactly identify either as mother or father. Parenting is important. It's more important than boxing. It's more important than math. Parenting is real important. So whether or not you identify as a mother or a father, or if you are helping young people to learn and grow, you are parenting. Parenting is part of what educators do as well. So there's a continuum of persons doing parenting. Moms, dads, aunts, uncles, kindergarten teachers, coaches, high school principals, mentoring graduate fellows. Some of us are straight, some of us are gay, some of us are transsexual, some are non-binary. All of us are helping children. All of us are helping children to become who they need to become. Today is a day for celebrating nurturance of children. It is a day to celebrate parenting as done by fathers, mothers, teachers, aunties, uncles, Dharma school teachers, etc., etc., etc. So, happy Father's Day. Happy Parents' Day, Happy Parenting Day, Happy Transsexual Dad's Day, Happy Gay Mommy's Day, Happy Parenting Day. Included in this most important work of parenting are persons of various gender identities. The children being guided will not all come to have identically the same gender identities. They won't all grow up to have the same political perspectives as their parents, teachers, aunts, and uncles. Actually, in a lot of cases, children will have very similar political and social views to their parents. And we'd like to think that's because of our wonderful influence, but it's because we're probably going to be at the same economic level. You know, poor people don't worry about bringing down capital gains tax. They just don't. People who can't afford cars aren't as worried about the price of gas as we are. It affects them. We understand that. They understand that. It pumps the price of everything up. But people who can't afford to own a car don't twice a week go there and go, oh, I can't believe it's this high. I can't believe this. You know? Some of our children may digress sharply from some of our views and some of our values, despite our most serious efforts at parenting. I have a relative who was of a conservative orientation for 30 years, and then she entered law enforcement. First juvenile crime and then victim services. This pushed her to the left. Working in the area of law enforcement does not do that for everyone. But it pushed her to the left when she started to move left when she was in juvenile crime, juvenile hall, whatever, counseling. But then when she was put in victim services, and she saw what people's lives really are and what they're, so that pushed her way to the left of where she had been. At 83, she's more liberal than Joe Biden. She's not as liberal as Bernie Sanders. But her daughter swung to the right just a few years back. Her son has been toying with her for 30 years, expressing right-wing positions just to pull her strings, you know, just to push her buttons. But he's also been a very reliable caregiver for her. And now that she's 83, she needs some help. She has some health problems. So we have some diversity amongst humans. There are, as we know, more than two gender identities. There are more than two sorts of socio-political orientation. Some of my liberal friends who are parents are not at all concerned that their sons or daughters might turn out gay, but if they were to vote Republican. Parenting, nurturing young people, is not molding them into what we want them to be. Why do children we help to nurture need to share all of our values and interests? They don't, right? Not all of them. Some of them maybe, though. They don't have to share all of our interests and values, the children we nurture. We don't expect our children to listen to the same music we do. Probably no baby boomer has ever sat their children down and said, I want you to listen to the Blue Cheer version of Summertime Blues. Never happened in North America. You know? We're all a little bit ashamed of that song. I owned the album at one time. But politics and social values are the sorts of areas in our lives that we speak of as our values. Mothers, fathers, high school teachers have to be flexible about this, more flexible than we've been. A truly good father wants his or her children to grow up to be who they are. They might not be exactly like we'd like them to be. Some of you may remember an old movie from 1965 with James Stewart called Dear Bridget. So the plot is a little movie. It was a little movie. So James Stewart plays a poet and a poetry professor, and his 12-year-old son is a math wizard, and he's also obsessed with Brigitte Bardot. And the 12-year-old writes a letter to Brigitte Bardot, and she visits him and all this stuff, you know. And the father, played by Jimmy Stewart, couldn't care less about this Brigitte Bardot thing. The fact that his son's obsessed with some sexual French actress, that's fine. But math, you can't like math. We're poets. We're a family of poets. It's kind of sweet to see that, because that's the truth, you know. It doesn't make any sense, but we're like that. He wanted his son to be a poet and not a mathematician. Now, I am very much a liberal arts guy. My foci in college have been, my majors have been, journalism, philosophy, English literature, creative writing, Buddhist studies. No math, no science. But my older son is a physicist, and my younger son is fond of math, and that's just fine by me. That's just fine by me. Unlike James Stewart's poet character in the film Dear Brigitte, I'm just fine with this. We record here this brief message, relatively brief message, we record on Father's Day. Parents' Day, I've been calling it, but it's Father's Day. June 19th is a special day. Besides it turning up to be Father's Day this year, you will remember that June 19th is the commemoration of the ending of slavery, which is kind of funny that that's the date, you know. It's just like we're going to celebrate the 800th year of our denomination next year. Well, give or take 20 years, right? I mean, it could have been anywhere in there. But similarly, June 19th is kind of a funny day because you may remember that Abraham Lincoln signed the executive order, he was into that, executive order ending slavery January 1st of 1863. 1863. But June 19th of 1865 was when General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and informed all the African Americans that they had been liberated, that the slavery had been pulled 2.5 years later. Took 2.5 years of the Civil War before we could actually get African American people below the Mason-Dixon line liberated. But we did, and that day happened to have been June 19th. Juneteenth, as it's sometimes called, and that was 1865. Again, 2.5 years after the president ended slavery, people south of the Mason-Dixon line were actually able to be freed. Sometimes you have to pick a date for things. There was a terrible series of betrayals that led to the imprisonment of Japanese Americans during World War II. It probably should be celebrated on the Supreme Court Justice's birthday. But you know, the actual signing of executive order putting Japanese Americans in internment camps or prisons. You know, as we know now, actually, the Department of Justice camps are properly called prisons. Those were prisons. The War Authority camps were internment camps. There's only a slight difference, but either imprisoned or put in internment camps. And that order was signed on February 19th of 1942. Maybe we should have commemorated on Franklin Delano Roosevelt's birthday every year. But it's February 19th because you got to pick a day. And for the ending of the enslavement of African American people in the United States of America, June 19th is the day of observation. Today is that special day. When you pause to think about it, it is amazing that we consider slavery legal for that long. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. As modern people, how can we put our heads around that, you know? How can Thomas Jefferson have fathered 6 children by a slave girl, never acknowledged them as his sons, never did anything to look after them? There's a rumor he freed her, but we don't know. But not the boys, not his children. They remained slaves when he died. George Washington's teeth, they were told were wooden. They're not wooden. No, they were slaves' teeth. They pulled the teeth right out of slaves' mouths and put it in a thing to give George. The way people were treated until just recently is unbelievable. We put up with this stuff for so long. It's amazing. How could we have tolerated slavery for that long? We must parent children who reject the institution of slavery. They don't have to like the same music we do. They don't have to like the same sports that we do. I don't have anyone to share my interest in boxing with, you know. The sons I've raised don't have the same favorite color that I do. My favorite color is a dark cobalt blue. And both the boys, when they were little, preferred powder blue, and then Sho gravitated toward a kind of a pastel blue-green. That's his favorite color. It's okay. I like that deep cobalt. They don't have to have the same favorite color. They can even like orange if they want to. In fact, Ren does like orange. They can like whatever favorite color they like. They can like whatever music they like. They can follow the sports they follow. But would it be okay if they thought slavery was okay? No. So while true parenting is guiding the children to freely choose who they want to be, there are limits for us and what we can be comfortable with. We do want to transmit basic values. My boys are opposed to slavery. Some fights are never completely over, you know. I mean, they're probably, if you'd asked a lot of Americans, say high school students 40 years ago, 30 years ago, is there slavery in the world today? Off the top of their head, they would have said, no, no, no. But there is. And you know, as you know, although I believe it's illegal everywhere now. I don't think it's flat out illegal anywhere, maybe some nation somewhere. But they say, researchers say, there are more people living in slavery right now than ever before. It's not, we haven't won the fight against slavery. We haven't won the fight for women's rights and and gender equality. We gotta, as long as we live, we're gonna be fighting that fight. We're gonna be advocating for that truth, for that value. To combine June 19th and Father's Day, or Parenting Day, let us teach our children well. Let us teach our children to oppose slavery. Let us teach our children to oppose racial discrimination. Let us teach our children to support the inclusion of all races and genders and persons, all living things. If we teach them well, some of them will become fathers, and some will become gay mommies, and some will become transgender daddies, and some will become non-binary parents who prefer to be referred to as they rather than her or he. If we raise our children without prejudices, they will make it a better world for fathers, mothers, children, pets, everybody. Every day will come to be a good day if we raise our children well, if we nurture our children. Every Father's Day will be a happy Father's Day. And I will close my remarks on that note, and I will wish you a happy Father's Day, happy Parenting Day, happy Juneteenth, happy June 19th. Thank you for coming here today. I will close the Dharma message portion of the service with Kansho, saying the Buddha's name a few times, and then we'll have the most important of all part of our service, which is announcements. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu. So thank you very much. We are next Saturday. There's going to be a general cleanup from 9 to noon? 9 to noon. And unfortunately, Jeannie and Kathy and I, about half of the insiders won't be here because we're at the once-a-year Southern District Buddhist Conference, which I think you have to be pre-registered even for the cyber side of that now. But some of the people are going in person. But I think all 4 of our Allens are going to be here, and some of our other Cathys, you know, and we're going to have some people here. And one thing I tell you is that partly because it's going to be a smaller crew than usual, the food's going to be really good. They're going to make a really nice lunch. I'm going to miss that. Yes?
We're going to start a one dance practice next Monday, the 27th.
So a week from Monday.
Week from Monday.
7? Okay, so that'll be, we're not sure, we'll be outside somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be, you know, we'll have that area clear or, you know. Yeah, but it'll be outside somewhere, 7 o'clock. Irene Tanahashi, what's the? Tanihara, right? Yeah, so a new teacher. We had the same 2 teachers for 20 years, and they've retired. And so we're going to have a new teacher, a new time. We used to always be Tuesday, Thursday. We'll start Monday, but not this coming Monday, a week from Monday, 7 p.m. We're going to close relatively early today. I didn't advertise any classes, but I have to keep my eye open because some people just pop in anyway. I will have the Tai Chi Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m.
We walk on Mondays from 8:30. We walk on the ground.
Monday at 8:30? Mm-hmm.
Mondays, and then we have pickleball starting at 11.
Mondays, athletic day. Pickleball at 10 and walk on the grounds at... Yeah.
In the gym.
It's a wiffle ball with a wooden racket. It's just like tennis, only
On a court.
it was designed for old people who can't do tennis, only the old people got all real competitive, and so it's just like tennis now, yeah. But with a wiffle ball, so you don't have to chase the ball as far.
Right, we play inside, we don't have.
Anything else we need to announce at this time? I don't think so under the circumstances, huh?
It's all on the website.
Yeah, it's all on the website, and if you're looking at us on the website, please check us out for what we have coming down the line. We will close the service with Kansho if we may. Those who wish to, please join in a posture of respect and in saying the Buddha's name. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Da Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Da Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Da Butsu. Thank you very much.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Ellen. Get the mic back to you in a timely fashion this time.